Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to go over my newest quant finance project, which is an ETF to futures basis trade calculator, which can adjust for financing fees, repo rates, and the yield of the ETF. So first of all, what is the purpose of this project? I will go to Thinkorswim and actually show it. Um, Cash to futures basis, swaps to futures basis is a very institutional trade, and one of the structural reasons for that is because it is highly dependent on special repo. You're talking about basis point shaving in the finance cost, talking about way to the right of the point. So it's not necessarily structurally impossible for retail. It's just that with a brokerage account, you're not going to get anywhere within the universe of the correct financing rates to apply this. But conceptually, if you are hedging exposure with an ETF with futures, you still are engaging in a technically an ETF to futures basis trade. So in reality, this calculator isn't something that people are going to use to trade. It's more of a hedging workstation to show you your projected total return. And sometimes you can profit from hedging, as you'll see in this example. So right now, let's say I am, for this example, long the iShares 20-year bond ETF, and I want to short to neutralize my DV01 exposure, the ZB contract. We would go to our workstation right here, and we take an input of contracts here, but let's say for the hypothetical, I'm financing my TLT ETF at a 0.043 repo yield 0.0465. You have that BlackRock 0.0015 or 15 basis point shave. And other information are marked for ZB here as 113.5 days to deliver. We're looking at the deferred contract. And here is our hedge ratio. So this shouldn't be confused with the conversion factor. The conversion factor is your hedge ratio between the futures to the cheapest to deliver within its basket. And that's important for watching how the future trades its mechanics. But this hedge ratio is just flattening the exposure between the ETF and the futures. This is going to change quite volatilely, especially because ZB, the contract here, this isn't trading off TLT. This is trading off the cheapest to deliver in its basket. TLT may have that bond, but it's not going to be weighted like it would be in the futures contract. So here we're short 10 contracts, and with the hedge ratio, that would mean to flatten that short 10 exposure. We'd long 880 shares. And as you can see, we get our convergence statistics and our carry statistics. So our convergence statistics shows with the futures priced out in time in TLT, what does the futures look like converted by that hedge ratio in terms of the TLT's pricing? And we can see there's a positive carry predicted by the market here. And our projected ETF carry is simply, I'll even show the formula here, it's an Euler's number carry formula, and we look at our projected carry points, multiply that by shares, and we see financing at repo, what is our expected profit and loss from the carry. And you can see 10 contracts, that's a 1 million lot of TLT roughly. You're seeing it's only about $31.90 projected total return on that. So that just goes to show this isn't a trade for profit, especially if you're trading on Thinkorswim. You're not looking at special repo or anything, just to be frank. But it does show you here, if we flattened our DB01 with the ZB contract on roughly $1 million lot, you would have slight profit. And this is just a proof of concept to show kind of an educational project that trading requires, especially for cash to futures basis, it requires really deep in the plumbing funding desks. It requires having connections with sell side treasuries, and it requires having repo economists that can help finance the position. If you are hedging your treasuries with futures, just worry about matching that DB01. Don't pay too much attention to your profit and loss because it's going to be negligible. You really need to do it on institutional leverage with institutional access to start seeing things become significant. Anyways, thanks for watching. That's a quick project, and I hope you'll have a good rest of your day.